Generational talent. Is that what we're saying? Generational talent. Unbelievable performance last night. No question about it. What a weekend. Hey, and what a week too, right? What a great week coming up here with Thanksgiving. Then you've got Christmas. I mean, week 13 of the NFL concludes tonight. Week 12, I should say, concludes. Week 13 of college football concluded. And make no mistake about it. What a great weekend. And you're seeing teams now start to put themselves in position when it comes to the NFL playoffs. As we always start the show, big sales. Also, please, all super chats go to the top. And on top of that, we are trying to break a record today of 147 likes for first 15 minutes. Okay? First 15 minutes is the most important when it comes to our likes. And we appreciate that, each and every single one of you. We're going to obviously have a conversation about what went on last night. Thanks for always counting the Eagles out, Big Silz. It seems like you reverse jinxed them, and it's working. You're their good luck charm, you hater. No, I'm like Nick Sirianni said after the game last night. You haven't done dick. You haven't done shit. You've shown a lot, but you haven't done shit. Quote, Nick Siri lied. People are going to be telling you, like Always Sunny, how great you are. You haven't accomplished shit. Quote, head coach. Quote, quote. That ain't me saying it, but I've been echoing that. Hey, quite frankly, the coach said exactly what I said all year long. You haven't done dick. You're showing a lot, though. You definitely are. Hey, Barkley was sensational last night. The O-line was sensational. The defense is coming along. Unbelievable. Fangio could be the coach of the year assistant-wise. A.J. Brown is absolutely a force. Gabe says was at the game last night, Silz. Saquan was electric. I'm telling you, man, we're going to get into the Giants here in a second and their failures around him. That guy never existed. What I saw last night in New York, he never existed. By the way, enormous show today. At 3:30, NFL on Fox's Jimmy Johnson will join us. Then at 4:30, Sunday Night Football's Tony Dungy. 2 Hall of Fame coaches will join us today. First, we'll have Jimmy Johnson at 3:30, and then Tony Dungy will join us at 4:30 to give us their insights. Again, what's this here? Get this. Joe Ho. Chiefs almost lost to the Panthers, clown. Who fucking cares? They're going for a three-peat. Every time you put the Chiefs in your mouth, always put Super Bowl champions. Back to back. No matter what it is. Always put Super Bowl champions. Okay? They got to win it all at this point. 14 wins doesn't mean shit. Amen. I'd play Milton at edge and Carter for some snaps. We're going to get to all this. No question about it. BG was absolutely insane last night and how great he played. And to be lost for the season with a tricep injury is devastating and catastrophic to the edge rushers, where you're already thin right now. We're going to get to our takeaways here in a second, but I'll make the point to you one more time. You haven't accomplished shit yet. However, you're doing a lot. And that's what I wrote down here. You guys are showing a lot. You're showing a lot. Last night was a clear takeaway game, even more so than what it was a week ago against the Commanders. Okay? Even more so against the Commanders. Last night, you had some star people on the football field, and you had star coaching. I don't care what John McMullen says about Sean McVay. He's got the best resume of any coach in the NFC because of the championships that he's won. 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl. And there's no question about it. One of the great play callers in the game today. Nobody has a championship resume in the NFC like Sean McVay does. And no question about it, Vic Fangio had a great night last night against them again. Okay? Had a great night against him again last night. So, I mean, hey, get this. Well, exactly, Senor. What a Sirianni won. What a Sirianni won. When we're in a conversation about Sean McVay and Nick Sirianni, what the fuck has he won? Help me out here. What's he won? What's he won? McVay's trash? What exactly has he won? Admiration? Sirianni, what has he won? What has he won? An NFC championship? McVay's got 2 in a Super Bowl. What exactly has Sirianni won? He wins games. Stu, he wins games. McVay wins the games. The games. For that one? No. He's got 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl, and he's 38 and he's younger. What has Nick won? My point was is that Fangio had a great night against him last night. Yeah. Hey, Sue, when Sue doesn't have an answer for you, you know what she does? It's a typical stupid-ass line of whatever. Okay, whatever is right because you can't compete with him. Nick has done nothing compared to Sean. He's a great coach. Get that through your heads. Okay, hey, get this. Nick is 2-0 with games that don't matter. 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl. I don't really have to say anymore. I really don't. So we'll move on. Once again, Jimmy Johnson, 330. And Tony Dungy at 430. Here's, just before I get to my takeaways, to the numbers, and my game balls, I'm going to put them in order again like this. Defense was great. Am I sold? They have put a lot of weeks together now where they're looking consistent. Can I tell you what this is going to come down to? Playing consistent football and not getting hurt. And the war of attrition. That's what this is going to come down to. Des the Jew, our friend. At this point, can we say we have a good defense? Yes, Des. Yes. I concede on that. It's good. You're thin at edge, but it's good. Trolls, it's dark times. Stay strong. Let's go Ravens. Don't let them make you fold. I'm not folding for what? I'm a prove it guy. You haven't proven shit yet. You're showing a lot again. You've won nothing on November 25th. Nothing. Like Nick said after the game last night, he's right. And I'm echoing the coach's sentiments because that's how people with the common sense and a normal brain think. They're not doing victory laps on November 25th. If you are, you're like 10 years old and don't get football. Okay? So we'll get to our takeaways here. MVP talk about Saquan Barkley, folks. Oh, we'll save that. We'll save that, okay? We'll save that. Okay? Get this. Hey, Senor, win it. Change the narrative. Win it. Hey, how about those shitty coaching decisions he made yesterday? Thank God Barkley and that roster are good because your coach is pathetic. Dude, really, you talk about weak links on your team, your fucking head coach is absolutely the record's a fraud for him. That's all players, man. And most notably, Howie. That coach, without a doubt, there were some bonehead bullshit decisions that guy made again. Unbelievable. Sirianni outcoached McVay. How you doing? No, he didn't. Sirianni doesn't coach anything. He doesn't have a job. He's a caretaker and motivational speaker. That's all you have. Silz, you prove you are a hater. Most, if not all, Eagle podcasters are talking good about the Eagles except for you. I'm not talking bad about the Eagles. I'm talking about in the now, not hoping, wishing, and praying. I don't do that. Marquise tells you exactly what I'm never going to be. I'm never going to sound like the same because those guys are all fucking flag wavers. Hey, my aunt even told me, why did you pick the Rams? Because I thought it was going to be a contest, and I thought Sean McVay had his guys ready. He didn't. Congratulations. Proved wrong. Okay. That's what this is about. It's not about me being right. This is not about being right. This is about you winning a Super Bowl. It's not about me. Dude, this is not about me. This is about Super Bowl winning. It has nothing to do with me. This has nothing to do with me. Nick and Jalen will hold them back. You notice I don't bring up Hurts because I don't really have to, because he doesn't have to be great when you have a running back that's doing historic things. I thought he was okay. I thought the pass to AJ was a great pass. Great tap-toe catch in the back of the end zone. But he really doesn't have to be great. Okay? He doesn't. He doesn't have to be great. Okay? It doesn't. Just has to be decent, not turn the ball over. Rams gifted the Rams a TD. Listen, I'm not really a guy that goes after the rest because it's a human game. Okay? By the way, I appreciate all your super chats. But that was atrocious last night by the NFL officiating, and they did keep the Rams in it. I don't traditionally go down that line, but that was a horribly officiated game. And most notably, it was skewed in the Rams' favor. BG injury is a huge blow to the defense. We need an edge. Well, you're not getting an edge. You're going to have to make an edge. Big Silz keeps it real. Much respect. Thank you. Hey, once again, it's about winning championships. Okay? Please hit that like button. First 15, I'd love to see if we can get past 147 in likes. By the way, I'm going to get to my takes here. And here's my takeaways. Amazing performance last night by Saquan Barkley. Just an amazing. McVay wishes he had Aaron Donald and Kitchens. That's okay. I think with a Super Bowl ring. It's an amazing performance. I mean, he was dominant. I never saw that guy that good. Okay, in New York. Never. He was never that guy. Who's eating crow for Thanksgiving, Angelo? Nobody's eating. Well, because he picked 5 wins. Okay. Sure. Hey, dude, we're not fortune tellers. Barkley was insane. I can't believe the explosiveness that he has. And I posted this on my Twitter page, my X account. So the New York Giants in the last 10 years is 56-101-1. And John Mara let that guy walk out the building. They've been to 2 playoff appearances in a decade. And you're telling me that you made a mistake and you benched 2 quarterbacks in 3 days between the pizza guy and Daniel Jones, who you released, and you let Barkley walk out the building for 0 compensation. How do you think you're running that organization? And Joe Schoen deserves an opportunity to come back, and Brian Dable? How in the world do you think and trust that guy? Do you understand the Giants have to start all over again now? If they're going to go to another quarterback, they have to start all over again. And you're going to trust those guys who lied to Saquan Barkley in free agency? Barkley said it himself. I never believed them. They weren't going to bring me back because they never offered me. Can you imagine that? This guy's averaged 200 rushing yards the last 2 weeks. He's on pace for 2151, which would break the 2105 record. Now, remember something. Dickerson did it in 16 games. Regardless, this guy's potentially going to get 500 receiving yards, 2,500 total yards. Once again, this will come down to the fact that he's not going to have a boatload of touchdowns. And that tush-push thing may end up costing him. That's why we brought the topic up, folks. We don't just bring up topics for shits and giggles. That could cost him in the end, especially if Henry's close to him and he has 25 touchdowns and 2,000 rushing yards himself. By the way, this next weekend could be an MVP game. Barkley, Henry, and Lamar Jackson are going to be on the field. 3 of the top 4 candidates for the MVP award are going to be playing against one another this weekend. This is an MVP game, not just staying with the pace. Ravens can't lose. Play a big one tonight. They can't lose. They play a demanding schedule. They can't. They're going to play the Chargers and then turn around and play the Eagles on Sunday. That's a brutal stretch. Short work week, everything. Regardless. Anthony says Allen will get the MVP. They're probably going to lean there. We'll talk more about that. I want to give you my takeaways first on the game, okay? Yeah, he was sensational last night. He just absolutely was sensational. Career game, career night. Unbelievable. I got to go here too. The offensive line, let me tell you what you have that's different this year. You have a running back that matches the talent in your O-line, and that's why you're seeing tremendous rushing numbers. Dude, no disrespect to Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift. They're fine ball players. But that guy is a great talent. You have a great talent with a great talented O-line, and it's meshing, and take a look at what you're seeing. That's as good as it gets. Stuff up in Detroit, same thing. You got 2 backs that are going to go over 1,400 yards. I've never seen that. You've got 3 things going on in the rushing game. You've got what's going on in Baltimore, what's going on in Philly, and what's going on in Detroit. What's it all based around? Great O-lines. And the Eagles might just have the best O-line in football. I mean, they were tremendous last night. Micaiah Becton has absolutely fit in at right guard. He is doing a great job. Hey, and for the record, Cam Jurgens has done a sensational job. Hurts had an average game, but hard to have great passing game with Barkley, 2 of those runs. Hurts made some plays on 3rd down, loved the short intermediate passes. He didn't have to be special. Then again, if Barkley is sensational like that, Hurts doesn't have to be spectacular or special. And he wasn't. He was efficient. That's okay. Nothing wrong with an efficient quarterback, especially when you're blowing teams out on the road and you're getting dude, it's the 9th greatest performance in NFL history running the ball. You have to put that in context of 105 years of NFL football. The 9th best. That's a historic night. I mean, he didn't have to do anything. And by the way, there's no rip in it. He was just a dude out there. Made some nice throws. He was over. Hey, when you have your defense playing like that and your O-line and your running back playing like that, why put your team in harm's way to help the Rams get back in the game? There's no sense of it. It's not a rip. But Hurts, to a point, was like really a non-factor in that game. I should say, the 3rd down, he was There were some plays he made, but at the end of the day, that thing was the Saquan Barkley show last night, and it was the defensive show. It's not a rip. Afternoon, Silz. Is Saquon the best Eagles free agent of all time? I think it's between him and T.O. The one thing about T.O., though, man, it lasted a year and a couple games. You know, right now what you're seeing is T.O. had a really sensational first year. He helped the team get into the Super Bowl. Will Barkley do that and help get his team into the Super Bowl? Yet to be determined. That guy had a great and sensational season, that Super Bowl season. I think he had 14 touchdowns. I think he missed the last couple games because of that leg injury, got into the Super Bowl, and was sensational in the Super Bowl. I thought that was our best opening drive all season, even though it only resulted in 3 points. Hey, you know, let me, and I appreciate it. All supers absolutely go to the top. Please hit the like button. Let me get in here. So that O-line was absolutely spectacular and special. Like I said, Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift are really good football players when they're with that O-line with the Eagles. But at the end of the day, you now put a sensational talent of Saquon Barkley behind that O-line. That's the result you're getting. And it's on display right now. And boy, I'll tell you what, I mean, just sensational numbers he put up last night. It was fun to watch, actually. If Hurts was a non-factor, but flick it, then please. Not sure what you mean, Justo, but it's not a rip. He didn't have to be a factor last night. He didn't have to throw them back into a ball game. It's not a rip, man. The 9th greatest rushing attack of all time was on display last night. You get out of the way. You don't try to throw the football and get in the way of that, especially when the Rams were dominated at the point of attack. There's no reason for it. Okay? Here. You can't win without a passing quarterback, right? So, yeah, you can't. You won't win a Super Bowl with just that kind of performance because you're not going to play a defense like that in the postseason. You're not going to run into teams like that. One-dimensional. Good offense and undersized defensive linemen and teams not playing well. You're not. You run into good football teams and well-coached teams and hot teams in the postseason. Yes, that's what you run into. Jalen Carter continues to dominate. His arm over, his dominance in the middle. I thought he was absolutely sensational. You know, I know some people were good on Jordan Davis, but I don't know. I'm hearing Josh Sweat, who had another great game. I'm hearing Milton Williams, impact players. I don't really hear him. So the guy in the middle is Jalen Carter. He's not playing Pro Bowl level. He's playing all pro level. Him and Dexter Lawrence, the kid up in New York, could be the 2 best interior linemen if things roll out for these next 6 weeks. Absolutely great. Golf had a game where he had 80 yards passing, and they won 56-6. Enjoy the win. We always find something to complain about. Nobody's complaining here, fuckwad. Nobody's complaining. I'm not complaining about it. What am I complaining about? Nobody's complaining. Nobody's complaining. Pick Ravens next week so we can win. Silz, would you use Bond at edge? We're going to get out there. Silz, with the production of the running game, how would we be hard-pressed to let Beckham walk? Unless Beckham would get a second say, pick how he should resign him. I think that's going to cost him a lot if they end up doing that. Okay? That to me, okay? Wait a minute. Prince, I apologize. I take that back, Prince. I'm sorry. Golf had a game where he had 80 passing yards and they won 56-6. Enjoy the win. We always find something to complain about. I'm not saying you, Silz. Okay, Prince, I apologize. Forgive me. Okay? Forgive me, Prince. Sorry, brother. Okay? Sorry. I apologize. Jason, thank you for the super. I have a conspiracy theory that NFL throttles the Eagles with BS calls because they know we have a Ferrari engine under the hood and we can blow anyone out. I would save our best plays for the playoffs while running Barkley. Hey, Xander, I just missed the super chat. Hey, Prince, I apologize. I missed the super chat here, Xander. I want to make sure I get it here. Trent Dilfer was a nice, efficient Super Bowl ring. I'd be good with it. Absolutely. Okay. Silz about to throw something at the camera. Keep it up, chat. Dude, what are you under the impression you upset me? Okay. Are you under the impression you upset me that much? Silz, I'm with you. AJ's dominant, but the line is the engine. The line was absolutely it's all good. I'm used to it. Hey, thank you, Prince. Prince is starting to be like my old lady. I'm used to his bullshit. He didn't add the latter part of it. Hey, I'm used to his bullshit now. Okay. Sills, you better be voting for Bo Nix for Rookie of the Year. Absolutely not. I'm still going Jaden Daniels. Sills, shout out to Jeff Stoutland. Barkley went for 616 yards untouched. That offensive line is absolutely amazing in what they are doing. No doubt about it. How about this too, man? Here's where the game was also an absolute crushing blow for the Rams last night. The Eagles were 8 of 12 on third down. The Rams were 0 for 5 on third down. Hey, that's great, man. Way to go, guys. 184 likes so far. Please keep hitting that like button. Cooper DeJean. Wow. You know, I know you guys are impressed with Quinyon Mitchell. I'm more impressed with Cooper DeJean. Ever since they put him in the secondary, it's completely been a different secondary. He is a force. He is a really great player. I mean, his potential is off the charts. That guy went in the second round. Who the fuck evaluated that? I mean, wow. He is off the charts. I mean, man. Hey, and by the way, like I predicted, okay, Slay's falling apart right in front of your eyes. And they targeted him all night. Sills, what a wonderful game plan from the coaching staff. Barkley, O-line, AJ, and the defense. Keep the passing to a minimum. They win. Absolutely, Brian. That's exactly what I said. And Brian, I'm not ripping Hurts. Okay, that's exactly what they did last night. They didn't really have to have a gigantic passing game, and they haven't had a passing game since the bye. They're just running the shit over people right now. Do you know they've gotten back to their roots from that bullshit year of a year ago where they were trying to be a finesse team and spread the ball around? They're just running people over now. I don't know about you, but that's like Mike Tyson fighting a guy who likes to jab. He's going to catch you with a haymaker. The Eagles throw haymakers, and they're going to catch you and slow you down, and you get out to these great starts. Every team gets out to a great start, and what happens? They hit you with a haymaker, and that haymaker's Barkley. Okay? Guys, please, the super chats are awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. O-line is the body shots in boxing. Absolutely, man. They're tenderizing those teams, man. Can you read my last super chat you skipped? We read it already. I'm assuming. Name one player you enjoy watching on this team, Big Sills, offense or defense. Got it. Thank you very much, Sander. There's many. Dan, the Washington pick ain't looking good for you. It's November 25th. We'll see. Okay? Remember, war of attrition. They got a big lead right now. No question. Don't get another injury. No likes for Sills until he talks good about Hurts. I don't have to. We didn't do anything last night. A player that I enjoy watch, AJ. Hey, look, I get on that guy's shit for his quirky asshole attitude, but he's a great player. Barkley is sensational to watch. I mean, I'm with Verse. That guy was never that guy in New York. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he's running like Barry Sanders. Like Sanders. Jalen Carter is playing great football. Hey, by the way, before Brandon Graham got injured, he was all over the field. I thought he wrecked the entire second or third quarter. I thought he wrecked it himself. Those young tackles could not stop him. If that's the way you're going to go out, you go out with a bow on a great night of football. Becton said himself he likes taking their will. They took their will last night, no doubt. Here's the thing with Vic. Silz, if you're Howie, do you call J.J. Watt, yes or no? How about Aaron Donald? Why wouldn't you call Aaron Donald? Donald's retired. Why don't you call him? Call Aaron Donald. He's 1 year removed from retirement. I mean, greatest defensive tackle pass rusher. You could put Williams and keep him out there on the perimeter, and you bring in another tackle to back up the two young guys in the middle. I mean, why not? Why not ask him? J.J. Watt's 3 years removed. Now, he did offer his services to the Texans this year. I don't know what kind of shape he's in. Okay? I don't know what kind of shape. But if I'm going to, maybe as you get closer to the year, and I'm talking the second season, you call Aaron Donald, hey, you want a playoff run for another ring and a shot at another ring? Sewer Peppers? What Peppers? I don't, dude, if I can get Aaron Donald or I can get J.J. Watt, I'm going to go there. I'm not going to go Dominic Sue. I don't need another guy. So you ask Aaron Donald if he wants to come back. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about because the guys that are out there right now walking the street are not worth bringing in. They're not worth bringing in. So let me get to the Fangio here. First quarter seems to be a problem for him, but then he adjusts. And he does a great job adjusting because the second, third, and fourth quarters, he pretty much owns. 290 yards you held that Rams team, 4.9 yards per play. You had 5 sacks in the game. I mean, just like Cincinnati, just like Washington, just like all these teams get out to a nice start. Vic looks at the game plan, and he looks at what they're doing. And the greatest thing that you can ever say about Bill Belichick, and one of the things that kind of reminds me a little bit of Belichick when it comes to Fangio, are those in-game adjustments. Because he puts those in-game adjustments together, and it flips the script on these teams. He has and is having a great year. And I'll say it one more time to the coach and the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Whatever you're doing down there, and why those players didn't want to listen to him is a direct result on why you got blown out at the end of the season a year ago. Silz Hurts gets full credit for his mere attendance, according to his enthusiasts. You give them an inch, and they'll take the whole sausage. Brian, he was a non-factor last night outside of a few plays, and one of them was a great throw in the back of the end zone to AJ. But that's not a problem when you have the 9th greatest performance in rushing history. You get out of the way of that. It's not a rip. When somebody's doing something iconic in the NFL, you don't get in the way of it. The Rams' responsibility was to try to stop that, and they couldn't. Why would you do anything else? That's poor coaching. If you were to get in the way and start throwing stupid passes all over the field, that's dumb coaching. You had a guy that was running people over in an old line that was an earth grader last night, like you're up in Lake Tahoe mowing snow off the highway. You don't just get out of, you don't just start stopping and go, well, let's throw the passes. There's no need for it. There's just no need. AJ was a force last night. He continues to impress. I'll tell you two things. I'm going to give Howie Roseman some flowers here. Okay? So they didn't know in New Orleans what they had with Gardner Johnson and Zach Bond. They didn't know what they had in Tennessee with A.J. Brown, and they didn't know what they had in New York with Barkley. You talk about organizations that have to do a better job at knowing their personnel and knowing how to utilize and player develop. Man, you talk about failures across the board. How do you have that kind of player on your team and you don't maximize their talent? And you don't know what they are and who they are? That's poor coaching. That's poor player development. A.J. Brown was not spectacular in Tennessee. 60 catches, 900 yards, 1,100 yards. That's common in today's NFL, like T. Higgins. But when you made him a number one, transformed him into being one of the top two wide receivers in the National Football League. In my opinion, I take him over everybody in the league because he blocks in the run game, and he knew how to block for Derrick Henry. I mean, now he's blocking for Barkley. I mean, there's no doubt he's a complete receiver. The only stupid thing I hate about that guy is that if the play doesn't come to his side, he kind of has a little Randy Moss in him a little bit. You could tell he's not really going all out at the end of the day. But he was a force last night. They can't cover him. Dude, when you get into a football game and you're at DC and you're going Brown and Barkley, that O-line, fuck, man. That O-line's intimidating. The most intimidating part of the Eagles is the O-line. They are absolutely intimidating in what they're doing. Okay? Don't you want that? We need motherfuckers, not some cream pack. No, Xander. I'm not ripping anything here. You're mowing people over right now. I'm not, this is not a rip. You're running people over. It's an identity. By the way, you see what the players did last night? Chris Collinsworth and everybody, and the sideline reporter was making comments that the O-line went over to the coaches and said, let's not throw the ball. Let's get back to our identity and run the ball. The O-line went over. Lane Johnson and Mulata went over to the coaches and said, let's not forget our identity. They don't want to throw the ball. They want to run people over. Imagine that. They don't want the ball in the air. That was said last night. That's not me saying it. That's the players on your team saying it. Coach, let's get back to our identity and let's run the ball. Okay? Let's run the ball. Dude, 18 to 22 passes, 38 to 45 runs. That's Eagle ball now, man. 2024. That's your identity moving forward. Do I like that identity? Can it win it in the NFC? Let me get down to that here. But let me finish up here. I'm not a big fan of talking refs, but they sucked last night. Eagle fans were awesome at SoFi last night. They owned the place. I mean, Rams had to go to silent count a couple times. Here's the key. Continue to get better and stay healthy. And are you in the room now for a Super Bowl? Yeah. Yeah. Now, to me, it's about playing better, continuing to get better, continuing to get those young guys reps, and stay healthy. The only reason that the Eagles will not win the Super Bowl is injury. They're in the room with the Lions, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. Those teams you're in the conversation with. I think you're just as formidable as the Lions offensively. The Lions have arguably the second or first best offensive line, and they've got a better tandem of running backs. But Barkley could cover for both of them, and it's kind of a push. They're going to get 3,000 rushing yards this year. Do you understand that? They're going to have 3,000 rushing yards, the Lions. I'm not sure their defense, though, is where it needs to be without Aiden Hutchinson being on that team. Now, you losing BG, that's also a kind of a push because you're not strong any longer and you're weak at the edge and you're undersized at the edge. Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt, Josh Sweat, okay, but the rest of those guys are undersized. So are you going to be stout enough at the perimeter now without Brandon Graham being out there? That's a massive loss. And by the way, the one thing that you're also going to have to be cognizant of, slaying in and out of the lineup, Isaiah Rodgers was picked on by an experienced quarterback, and they were targeting his ass, albeit a shitty call by the ref. But you're going to be targeted all day long but when Isaiah Rodgers is out there. Ringo is not the answer. Ringo's not the answer. Or Vic would have him out there. Okay? Vic would have him out there. Silz, this team is right now is if it ain't broke, don't fix it stage. They now have an R playing to their identity. Now they need to work on a counterpunch if they run into any issues. I would say you got to get Hurts more established. I would say getting Jalen more established. Not a lot, but just keep with getting him more efficient. Don't turn the ball over. Start making some plays across the middle of the field. Get the tight end more involved. Though Goddard got a little bit last night as well, but get him more involved. Keep him honest. Dude, get this, man. I'm going to tell you this. When you become predictable throwing to your two wide receivers, that's one thing. When you become predictable running the ball and you can't stop it, there's nothing you can do about it. There's something I can do about being predictable when I'm going to two wide receivers. There's nothing I can do if you're running me over. Do you understand what I'm saying about a run game like that, what you saw last night? There's nothing you can do about it. I've been in games like that. There's just nothing you can do about it. No matter how good your record is, no matter how good your team is, when guys are fucking running you over like that, there's nothing on the planet. You walk over to your sideline, you praying your coach doesn't say anything. And you know the most important thing if you're the opposing, let me tell you something when it comes to tomorrow for the Rams, or today I should say. Ram players don't want to see that tape because they got ran over. They got ran over. Getting run over. Hey, one thing giving up 500 yards in passing, you can get away with that. Being run over, that's just taking your will away. There's just nothing you can do about it. I mean, do you know how many teams the Rams are going to run into like that? One. They're not going to run into a team like that again. Saquan Barkley looks like that's not Saquon Barkley to me. That's not Saquon Barkley. I've never seen that version of him. Dude, he's running through the line of scrimmage 4 yards before they touch him. That O-line they're playing better than any of the years that I've covered you. Cam Jerkins is an upgrade on Jason Kelsey of a year ago. He's an upgrade. He's an absolute upgrade. And Becton is an upgrade from Jergens a year ago. Dickerson continues to impress. Hey, I saw Mulatto get knocked on his ass. That's just a leverage play. That's not a big deal. Happens to everybody. He's playing great ball. I mean, Lane is probably playing the best ball he's played in 3 years, including 22. Great. Great. So, my takeaway, they're proving it to me. They're proving it to me. Okay? Manster, it is positive. You know why it's positive for me? You went into the ring and you beat that team up. There's no evaluation. There's no breaking down. There's just beating the fuck out of people. Dude, getting beat up like that is not cool. Silz, I love Barkley, but we should have gotten another running back at the deadline. Kenny Gainless is really gaining less. I don't trust a guy named Kenny. Brian, I think he's efficient enough. I think they're just my problem is this with Barkley. He's looking at 345 rushing attempts. He's never had more than 290, and he's older now. I mean, why is he in the ball game in the third and fourth quarter, albeit it makes for an iconic night for him and the ninth greatest performance? I love watching greatness. I loved watching it as a fan, but as an organization, you really need it when you got the game in hand. You're putting them out there and keeping them out there. Man, you need that guy against Ball. Hey, like I said, this game against Baltimore, you got 3 of the top 4, 5 candidates for the MVP award in this game on Sunday. This ain't going to be a game for the faint of heart. You got Derrick Henry. You've got Lamar Jackson. And you've got Barkley. And to some extent, A.J. Brown and Hurts. Look at that, what you have going on this weekend. Fuck. I mean, this is like big-time old-school football this week. I'm suspect on the Ravens' defense, but holy shit. You got big-time ball players. By the way, that tight end, Andrews for Baltimore's great. You got that kid Hamilton that plays in the secondary for the Ravens is a great ball player. There is a ton of great ball players in this game this weekend. Hey, by the way, see this conversation? I'd take Barkley over Henry every day. Are you under the impression if Derrick Henry was on that Eagles team, you don't think he'd be rushing? He's rushing for 2,000 yards himself right now. Are you under the impression he couldn't do that? That guy has done that every year of his career. Barkley has never, and he's been on shittier teams. Are you under the impression Derrick Henry's a Hall of Famer? Don't get yourself ahead of yourself. He's having an iconic year. I'm not saying that. But that guy's had an iconic career. Okay? No, hey, that's a different conversation. Is Barkley more complete? Yes. Barkley is not going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Henry is. And he's doing it still. Barkley has over 1,000 yards before contact. Tremendous when it comes to the O-line. Absolutely true. Okay? Absolutely true. Barkley's career isn't over. Obviously, Henry's isn't either. And Derrick Henry's had 11,000 rushing yards. Barkley's career was wasted in New York because New York wasted it. Make no mistake about it. We'll get to the MVP conversation here. Jimmy Johnson's going to join us at 3:30 from NFL on Fox, and then Tony Dungy is going to join us at 4:30. The NFL really thought they could diminish the running back position. Look at them all flourishing. Hey, Devontae, look at Aaron Jones. Look at Josh Jacobs. Shit, look at J.K. Dobbins, who's a former Raven himself, out in Los Angeles with the Chargers. Look at Barkley in Philly. Incredible on what's happening with the running back position. There's clearly a resurgence. By the way, Saquan Barkley and Derrick Henry are raising the value of the running back position again this year. Henry would not fit. He needs to be in an I formation. That could be a little bit, Sean. I might buy that. I wanted Barkley and Henry this offseason. I don't think he would have been wrong with either one, but Barkley gives you more in the pass game for sure. Okay? That's not Derrick's game. But I'll tell you, both are exceptional runners in between the tackles and explosive. Joe Mixon's killing it. He absolutely is. I disagree. Silz. Barkley's closest to Barry Sanders since Barry. Bro, he's had 6 years and he's had 3 1,000-yard years. And they've been like 1,200 yards. He's been and it's a giant issue, not a Barkley issue. He doesn't have the numbers. Absolutely. He'll never get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He doesn't have the numbers. The only reason Terrell Davis got in is because he got injured. I mean, he's not ever going to the Hall of Fame. No one's voting for that. He's not. Dude, I put these lists together for Hall of Fame voters. I know what they vote on. See where he's at. Just, again, before I continue on with the numbers. He's at, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in 7 years, he's got 6,600 rushing yards. He'll never get in. He's probably 150th, 200 in rushing in NFL history. The Giants destroyed his career and opportunity. Okay? I mean, look, he's having a Hall of Fame season. And you know what you're going to look back on? What could have been and what New York did to his career. New York fucked him over by not putting a team around him. This is the New York issue, not a Barkley issue. Okay? This is a Barkley issue. So let's get to the numbers. By the way, again, absolutely iconic night for him. Silz, I think Barkley can handle the load. If I think he has always been able to. Different is he's not getting killed 4 yards behind the line like he did in New York. Richard, you're dead on. If Barkley had been an Eagle, I said this, Matthew, if Saquon Barkley started his career in Philadelphia, he might threaten Emmitt Smith's number. Keith, thanks. Silz, your scary tactics are getting too old. What scary tactics? Over the last 7 weeks, we have shut down, once again, end of story, on to Baltimore. Scary tactics. No, I'm a prove it guy, and I want to see it guy. You had a lot of brand new turnover with new coordinators. You had the same shit a year ago. Sorry, Keith. I don't have a fucking stick. I don't know what you're talking about. And I don't think I could be any more positive than I am right now. You're proving it. Nick Sirianni said something right after the damn game last night. Don't be reading and listening to Keith here, okay? Because they're going to be telling you how fucking good you are. We haven't accomplished shit. End of quote. That's your coach. Is that a scary tactic? Why don't you take it up with your coach then? Because that's a scary tactic. Your coach said that. No, it's not prove me wrong Eagles. It's proved me right, and they are. Sensitive? Dude, I get sensitive when my steak gets cold, not when you make a dumb comment. Silz, if he gets 15 or 2,000 yards for the next, okay. Now you're talking about, let's see, again, now you're getting into the world I hate. Well, let's worry about 2024 first. You act as old. We're a top 3 offense. No, you're not. You're a top 3 rushing attack. In defense, and Saquan will be in the hall along with every 2K yard rusher. This guy's trying to tell you that every guy that's gained 2,000 yards has made it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm going to show you what a bullshit comment that is. NFL seasons with 2,000 rushing yards list. Let's take a look at that. On people that have gained 2,000 rushing yards. Jamal Lewis, I must have missed that. Chris Johnson, I must have missed that. Okay? I must have missed those guys. Those guys aren't in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They didn't make it. Now, I won't lie. Let's see here. Terrell Davis is in. Jamal Lewis is not. Chris Johnson is not. Peterson will be, I think. And Derrick Henry. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys who are not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame out of the 8. Complete bullshit lie, not true. Silz, do you honestly think Hurts didn't do anything yesterday? No, I thought he was efficient. I didn't think he was special. Thought he was efficient. Didn't have to be. He had the 9th greatest performance going on. What's wrong with you folks? You get out of the way of that if you're a quarterback. You don't get in the way. The guy was having an iconic night. They were running people over. Why would you get in the way with a stupid passing game? I thought he was good. I didn't think he was great. Wasn't special. They didn't need him to be special. It's not. Okay? It's not a rip. That's all we need Jalen to do, efficient, not turn the ball over. And make plays on 3rd down, Twiz. Yeah, it's not a rip. Nobody's ripping him. Okay? He didn't have to be special. The guy behind him was. The O-line was. The defense was. The D coordinator was. Didn't have to be special. It's not a rip. Okay? By the numbers. Obviously, 37-20. That last touchdown, it was a blowout. First downs, 24-23. I think a lot of that came on that last drive. Here's the game right here. Eagles are 9 of 15 on 3rd down. The Eagle defense, 0 for 8. They held the Rams to. That's fantastic. And here's another great number that I'm a fan of. Total yards, 481. Yeah, 314 of that came via the rush. Held another team to 290. Passing, 167 to 198. Passing was on display last night. It was early. Sacks. Eagles had 5 sacks on the Rams. Outstanding. The Rams only had 1 on Hurts. Rushing, 45 attempts, 314 yards. Somebody goes like this, Silz, they have 481 in total offense. Yeah, 314 running the ball. Absolutely. 18-92. Again, I don't think the kid Robinson or Williams, excuse me, I don't think he had a bad game. 16 for 72 yards. That's not a bad night with a touchdown. Remember something. All you have to do is get 60 yards a game. You're a 1,000-yard rusher in today's NFL. So he's over the norm. I mean, that's a 1,000-yard performance. In today's NFL, Barkley was just insane. Here's another super one. Eagles are doing this on a consistent basis. Holding teams under 60 plays. They had 59 plays in this game, the Rams. The Eagles had nearly 70. I mean, play differential, and that's even given that last bullshit series the Rams had. By the numbers. I'll do my game balls here next. Jimmy Johnson is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. And then Tony Dungy will join us at 4:30. Hurts, 15-22, 179. You know, it's funny. Xander asked me what my prediction was going to be over or under on Jalen Hurts in the pregame show on Sunday. I said about 155 yards passing, 65 yards rushing. That's kind of what it was. I mean, 179, touchdown, 15-22. Okay. Efficient. Stafford was 24-36, a lot of that in the first drive and in the last drive. 243 and 2 touchdowns. They pretty much shut him down after the first drive of the ball game. Barkley, 26 for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. 9th greatest performance in pro football history. Williams, 16 for 72 and a touchdown, like I said. Receiving, AJ got his numbers. 6 for 109 and a touchdown. Puka Nacua, by the way, is the real deal. 9 catches, 117. Cooper Kupp, 8 for 60 and a TD. Barkley had 4 catches for 47. Barkley just had an insane night last night. He was just special last night. He was special last night. Yeah, I mean, he was great. AJ and Barkley throwing and pass the ball to themselves. Hey, Justo, these guys were great last night. AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley were, without a doubt, a force last night. I'm going to take this guy off this list here on my game ball, and I'm going to put this guy here because if I don't do that, I'm John McMullen and myself, and I'll explain. So I'm going to do this, and I'm not just going to do it to make my takes not be right, but sound right. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to change that up. And I'm going to go from 10 to 1 for my game balls instead of 1 to 10. Actually, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to start at the top. Big Silz game balls for the performance yesterday. Number 1, Saquon Barkley. Absolutely sensational. I mean, explosion. What a teammate. You know, Tiki Barber used to try to tell people he was a bad teammate and he was a cancer to Giant fans. If you're a New York Giant fan and you're watching what that guy did last night, you've got to be sitting here going like this. What's Tiki talking about? Tiki was one of the most hated players in pro football history. What's he talking about? I don't think there's any coincidence. Once they got rid of Tiki and he retired, they won 2 Super Bowls. The locker room became much better because he was fighting Tom Coughlin all the time. He was always fighting Tom Coughlin. Well, they got rid of him. They won 2 Super Bowls. Silz, do you think guys like Nacua fall to the 5th or why do you think? I'm assuming you're saying that. Brigham Young, maybe a couple injuries, maybe didn't test well at the combines. Hey, you got to remember something too, Big C. Antonio Brown was like a 5th or 6th rounder. Okay, he wasn't a top guy. He wasn't a top pick. Okay, I mean, he wasn't. He was like a 5th or 6th round draft pick. Some guys just fall through the cracks. And the wide receiver position, how do guys like Jalen Reagor get drafted in the 1st and guys like Puka Nacua go in the 5th? Okay, I don't know. I mean, Brady going in the 6th round, same situation. Talent evaluating. Hey, by the way, something else too. When you're talking about talent evaluating, I mean, Tom Brady, whatever people want to say about the Patriots, they missed on him 5 times too. You say whatever you want about him, but they missed on him too. Rondé was a great player and well-respected in the league. Tiki was never. He's not returning this year. He's talking about potentially next year. Saquan Barkley gets the number 1 game ball for me. Number 2, the offensive line. Every guy on that old line gets it. Okay? They were fabulous last night. You can't measure heart and will. No, you can't. And desire. And being a student of the game. Absolutely. Please hit the like button, guys. Jimmy Johnson's going to join us in a couple minutes. And then Tony Dungy's going to join us at 4:30. Number 3, A.J. Brown. Guy's the force. He does it each and every single game. And I really, as much as I get on his shit for the way he acts sometimes, he's a great football player. Number 4, Brandon Graham. What a game. He was absolutely awesome last night. And for 1 quarter, I can't remember, 3rd or 2nd, I thought he destroyed it, man. They couldn't block him. Last time I heard Silz this positive was 22. Des the Jew, you're learning. You're learning. It's because you're proving it to me. I'm seeing it. Not hearing it. I'm seeing it. Last year, I didn't see it when you were 10-1. I'm seeing it. Energy, running to the ball. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Barkley. You got flash players here. I mean, you didn't have flash players last year except for AJ. The only flash player you had last year was AJ Brown, where you went, oh, my eyeballs don't lie. This year, you've got numerous players. Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter wasn't playing like this last year, even when they were 10-1. How is this O-line compared to the 95 Cowboys? Why don't we ask Jimmy Johnson? Guys, let's ask Jimmy Johnson this question. Make sure I don't forget it. Does this O-line and Saquon remind you of Emmitt Smith and that O-line that I was there for? Why don't we ask him? Because how he answers that, Jimmy built that whole thing. Okay? Jimmy, does this remind you of what you had in Dallas with Emmitt? An efficient quarterback in Aikman and a great running attack with Emmitt and an O-line. Now, hindsight is that team won 3 Super Bowls. Keep that in perspective. Okay? The man, the architect, the man who built it, the man who won those Super Bowls, he's going to be on in a couple minutes. Why don't we ask him? I'm awake or you. No comparison. How? The fact that they won 3 Super Bowls? Well, wait. RC3. You got to win something first, don't you? I mean, what do you mean no comparison? I'm awake or you? Well, as of right now, there is no comparison. I mean, you haven't won, Dick. That's another great one. Coach, do you see Jalen Carter and Jerome? Let me write that down. O-line and Emmett and Jerome Brown and Jalen Carter. Guy who coached him. What do you guys think? Pretty good guess coming up? Tony Dungy also with Sap. Do you see Sap in Jalen Carter? By the way, Sap said Tony Dungy told Nick Sirianni something a couple weeks ago. I want to know what that was. Why don't we ask him? 4:30. And it had to do with Jalen Carter. Okay? Apologize for what? What's he won? Playing a lot better. No question. Apologize for what? Why don't we run through the tape? I mean, I can't believe how many people in here like giving victory awards to half the race. I mean, that's not how sports works. You don't get a victory lap completing half the race. That's right, Max. Thank you. I was the very first one. Go back and listen. There were shorts that were made on our network. I'm the first one that compared them to Jerome. I'm the very first one. No one else did. I did. I said, that guy's got intangibles like Jerome. Quick hands, quick feet, a tenacity. Okay? Nobody did. I did that on draft night. Okay? Number 5, I got Milton Williams. Milton Williams made a ton of money. Okay? Just admit you were wrong about Dean. I'm not going to ever admit I'm wrong about Dean. We'll see. Still got a season to play. He's looking very good. Still struggles in coverage, but we'll see. Gets to the ball well. Vic is using him great. Rushes the passer a lot better than I thought. They found a role for him. The guy next to him is helping his game. We'll see. It's coming along well. And you know what? It's funny. I talk like Vic. Vic says the same shit about him. It's getting better and better every week. I'm just repeating a little. Vic and I are basically on the same page. I can't help it if you're not. That's a better comment. Deaney's improving quickly. Yes, that's right. Okay? Yes. Yes. He's improved. That's a great comment. Absolutely. Yes. Number 6. I do have Nakobe Dean for a game ball. What's Coach Dungy think about the Birds secondary? We'll ask him. By the way, when Jimmy and Coach Dungy come on today, post your questions in the chat room, and I'll ask them. By the way, it has to be a super, okay? It has to be a super. We're going to put a premium on these questions. If there is, I'm going to ask you guys, please, it has to be in a super for the question so I can see them, because I'm in the middle of a conversation, and I'll be able to see the supers and I'll ask him, okay? Well, then don't do it. Hey, I'm awake, are you? Then don't do it. You could do it or not do it. I don't care. Ask Tony Dungy what he thinks of Manning. I've already asked the last time he was on if he thought he underachieved in Indianapolis, and he thought he did. Hey, Silz, I don't understand all you've been doing from the start of the show was phrasing the Eagle, what the F guys, like hit the button best. I'm not sure what the fuck you're talking about. Silz, would you ask Tony about John Randall? He loved John Randall. Hey, Silz, do position coaches get into the Hall of Fame because of the way Stoutland finds a lineman and always puts them in a position to win? Should get some credit. You know, I think they're now starting to do that. Philly Born, thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate it. Hey, by the way, guys, I was talking about during the interview, but thank you guys right now for supporting the channel. I told you last week, this team reminds me of the 90s Cowboys, nothing against Jalen. But if we have an efficient quarterback like Joe Burrow, we can win a couple of Super Bowls without a doubt. You know, Troy Aikman didn't put a lot of yards up. He played within a system. Okay? Do you think the Eagles can extend Bond and Milton, or will it cost too much? Well, Milton's going to be around $15 million, and so is Bond. If you think Howie's going to do that, and by the way these guys are playing now, I mean, Becton's going to be around 15 to 20 million. Somewhere near 12 to $15 million. Bond's going to be between 12 and 15. And you're probably looking at, for Milton, you're probably looking at 10 million. Aikman never had a completion percentage of 70% a year. Hey, Wishbone, he didn't need it. He had a running attack. Silz, don't like challenging reading. Thanks for the super chat, Flexion. I appreciate it. I'll be fine with letting Becton go. Love him, but it's a business. I trust Keegan to come in like a year or two. I think he's the guy in waiting. I really do. I think he's the guy in waiting. Jimmy's going to join us. We got some great questions lined up already for Coach Johnson. So let me finish. I gave Nakobe my number 6 game ball. Number 7, I got Cooper DeJean. I think he's playing great football, man. He's a good-looking prospect. He's a really good-looking prospect. Extend Milton and let Jordan Davis walk. I don't know. Jordan Davis is not going to get $18 million or $22 million. Xander and John are higher on him. I'm not paying $18 million to a guy who plays 20 reps and is a first and second down player. That's not happening. And Howie will not pay for that. You pay for 3-down players for that kind of money. Okay? By the way, do you think that Howie Roseman would like to have his money back on the kid Huff, knowing that he's a one-dimensional player, thinking that they were going to make him a 3-down player? They paid him $18 million not because he was a one-dimensional player, but because they thought he could be a 3-down guy. Well, now that they found out he's not, they wouldn't pay $18 million for that guy. The Jets knew it, and that's why they let him walk. Okay? I love when the crowd was chanting Coop for both guys, Cooper Kupp and Cooper DeJean. That was pretty cool. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys, man. Really. Jimmy Johnson will join us at the bottom of the hour. I got Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat is having – what is Sweat doing right now? Let's take a look at this and where he's trending right now. Are you going to let Josh Sweat walk at the end of the year? Are you going to trade him and let him walk at the end of the season? Here's Josh Sweat right now. Josh Sweat is on pace for 11 sacks and almost 60 tackles. 45 tackles and 11 sacks. It'll be the second time in 3 years that he went over 10 sacks. Are you letting him walk out the building? I'm not sure I'm letting that guy walk out the building. Get this. So Josh Sweat's knees are shot. He has 2 to 3 years left. Okay. You're going to let him walk then with 2 to 3 years left? And he's a multiple sack guy? Who do you have to replace him? Who's replacing him? So you're going to lose BG and Sweat? And you're going to feel comfortable being on the perimeter with Huff, Alex Hunt, and Nolan Smith? That I want to see. That I want to see. Free agency? So Howie Roseman is going to go out in the market and spend $25 million for Brian Burns, a guy like that? Is that what you're saying? Silz, when Howie looks at Vaughn, Milton, and Becton, he sees 2/3 and a fourth in comp picks. Correct. He does. He sees the compensation picks for sure. Absolutely. My number 9 game ball is going to Quinyon Mitchell, who's had a really great year. Really has. Okay? Really has. Number 10 is Jalen Hurts. Solid game. No rips. Not great. Not bad. Efficient. Nice play in the back of the end zone. And what I loved, he didn't get in the way, like Aikman. Aikman never got in the way of Emmett. When things were rolling in Dallas, they never got in the way. They let Emmett do his thing. Why would you get in the way of that if no one could stop it? Right? And then I could Nakobe Dean. I can't be like certain sports talk people and not recognize the kid played well. That's not right, and it's not truthful. He did. He did play well. He was there. He had a good game. I mean, you can't deny when you see Saquan Barkley. And by the way, last night, started the show off like that, and make no mistake about it, that was an iconic game last night for Saquon Barkley. And when we did the pre and post game show last night for the Eagles, there's no question you get out of the way of performances like that. All right, guys, you guys have asked me a lot of great questions, and the architect who put together those Dallas Cowboy teams, can you win a Super Bowl by running the ball, having an efficient quarterback, and the way they ran last night, doesn't it remind a lot of people of what Jimmy did and Coach Johnson did back with the Cowboys when they had that fabulous O-line and an efficient quarterback, great on third downs, Troy Aikman, great coaching and a great defense? Can you win Super Bowls that way? And how good are the Eagles?